Hey everybody, welcome to Between the Laughs. We're like little kids who farted. We're like the kids that pushed all the buttons in the elevator. We're idiots like that. Hope you're doing well, man. You know what? So there's a couple things I really wanted to talk about. So one of them is I'm going to paint the picture for you because it's not in the zeitgeist of most Americans. It's football, soccer. And this Tuesday was a really big, huge deal because basically this kid named Vinicius Jr. was called a monkey, supposedly. Now, I don't believe supposedly, but I'll paint the picture. For now, supposedly, he called him a monkey 5 times. All right, so anyway, Vinny, black guy, been in the news for this a lot. Anyway, he scored a really good goal. Went to the corner, danced on the flag. Nothing crazy. But even if it was, whatever, he's celebrating a goal. They give him a yellow card for celebrating the goal. By giving him a yellow card, it incited the people in the stadium to be like, what? What is that all about? Then some people in the stadium were doing this, right? They were doing the monkey thing.
Yeah.
Now, those people in the stadium, bro, didn't know that this kid had called Vinny a monkey because he put his shirt over
his mouth,
and then he said it. Yeah. Now Kylian Mbappe said he heard him say it 5 times, but some of the people, not all, but some of the people, it was a club called Benfica and it's in Lisbon, Portugal. Anyway, so here's a couple of things. Number one of the narratives has been. And it's not just here, right? It's not just here. It sounded to me like what cops say to minorities. Like, what are you doing here? Why do I have to explain that I'm in my car driving wherever the fuck I am? Yeah. Why do I have to, you know what I mean? Or when they go, oh, you're a little uppity. Like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten that personally. I've literally heard comedians say, why did you have to like go up there and rip it up like that? Why are you trying to make everybody else look bad? Yeah. It's like, wait, me trying to be my best on stage? Yeah. It's pissing you off? Like, why don't you say that to other comedians? Do other comedians get that? So the fact that some people are like, well, he shouldn't have celebrated like that. He basically instigated it. As if to say, well, had he not done that, they wouldn't have said anything. I mean, they only said it because he did that. Racism is never okay. It doesn't matter what he said. If he would have whipped his dick out and pointed at it and looked at the stadium, it still doesn't condone them calling him a monkey or a... And by the way, some language is going to be said here, but I'm not going to say the N-word. And let me tell you why. Because if I say the N-word, quote unquote, you guys are not going to really understand and feel what it is. Part of what I don't like about when we speak of racial stuff is that when it happens, it's way up here. But then when we talk about it through the language that we use, it kind of tones it down, right? There's a big difference between me saying, oh my God, this dude looked at him and he called him the N-word. Okay, you get it intellectually. But when I say, man, they were calling him a nigger, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? But that's the point. That's what we do as comedians, right? We use the language to get you into that place, into that space. So that really bothered me in the sense that why do we have to be tame? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to not be uppity? Why do we have to be quiet? Why do we have to be grateful? You know, one of the things when I started comedy was people were like, you know, you're not grateful enough. You know, they're giving you this opportunity. And I've, in my age, learned to put that into perspective. But at the time, I was like, so they just picked me out of nowhere, plucked me from nothing, put me on stage. I ate a dick, but they keep giving me spots. No, that is not how it happened. Yeah. I busted my ass. I worked hard. I created. I went on stage. I got a job at the Comedy Store during the day. I got a job at the Comedy Store at night. I was the one going there every single night, performing, doing my thing. They knew about me because somebody said, "Oh, there's this kid. There's this kid. Go see him." But I remember I was told. I remember there's I'm not going to say his name, but there's people in the industry, and there's this one guy specifically who he literally looked at me and he said, "I don't understand your comedy." And I said, "I just got a standing ovation." And he said, "Those are regular people. They don't know anything." And in my head, I'm like, wait.
So that's the uppity person.
Right. But not just that. If that guy's not going to watch my TV show. That guy's not going to watch my Mencia.
Yeah.
You know who is? Those people.
All those other people.
And all those other people are going to make it so that I can make money because they're the ones that are going to. So, according to this guy, I shouldn't make the audience happy. I should make him happy because he didn't understand that I was a little too edgy or angry on stage or whatever it was. Now, my perspective today is different. It is different in the sense that, okay, I get it. If you're going to be NBC and you're going to look at me and you're going to say, we're going to buy 13 episodes of a half-hour show, investing $1 million an episode or $500,000 an episode or whatever it is, they're going to give me anywhere between $7 and $15 million. Okay, I get that those people want you to be grateful, right? But it's not that I wasn't grateful or that I didn't have humility. It was that I was doing my stand-up. And when they shove it in your face like that, it's hard when you're young. It's hard for people to tell you, you should be grateful. Well, you're acting like I don't deserve this. You're acting like I didn't fucking make it. I didn't do this.
And you're assuming that I'm not grateful.
And you're assuming that I'm not grateful just because of the way I perform on stage. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not who we are all the time. Sam Kinison wasn't going around, I want a drink. I mean, that's not what he was doing, right? He was a normal person. We're normal people. So I hate that idea, but it's happened to us, Why do the Latinos have to dress like that? Why do they have to wear stuff like that? You know what I mean? Why do they have to sing in Spanish? Why can't this American-born Bad Bunny sing in English? And you know what I mean? And now that I'm older, I can put it in perspective. I couldn't when I was younger. Did you experience any of that stuff coming up?
Of course I did. But it's you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I'll give you an example. I get hired to do corporate gigs a lot, where I'm hosting things for pharmaceutical companies, stuff like that. So there's times I'll wear a suit or I'll wear a tuxedo. And it's just weird that people are like, wow, you guys really know how to dress up or how to gussy up or whatever term that they're using. Like, so am I supposed to wear boots and a ranchera shirt? Is that what your expectation is?
You come in looking like Bronco.
Am I supposed to have bull horns on my hood of my truck?
Right. You're supposed to have a little snake on the tip of your boob,
yes.
bro.
And so that's why I'm damned if you do and damned if you don't. I'm born in this country. I speak. You and I are lucky because we speak both languages without an accent, so we blend in just fine.
Correct, both ways.
Yes, and so I get to do these events in Spanish also, and it's still our own people that are just the biggest shit talkers. Like, oh, look who thinks he's all bad. And I know it happens in the black community. I'm not sure what happens in the white community, because I remember Chris Rock saying it perfectly. You get more respect coming out of prison than you do coming out of college. It's something that it was a bit that Chris Rock
in the hood,
right? I can totally relate to that from where I grew up and how I grew up.
Right.
And so my parents, and I credit, all the credit goes to my parents. They removed my sisters and I from that situation because they knew stuff like that was happening where I would be influenced, especially being the only boy of 5 kids.
Right.
That I was probably going to be influenced the gang direction as opposed to go to college direction. And so they moved us away, and guess what? I was no longer exposed to the gang scenario, but I was exposed a lot to the college area.
Right.
So went that direction. But it's, you talk about.
But it's the little stuff.
But it's the little stuff. But
you're Mexican?
Yeah.
You speak English very eloquently.
Yeah, and that's the compliment.
Backhanded, if nothing else.
Guess what? I know how to read a book, too, you asshole.
Right? The expectation, that's the stuff that I'm talking about.
But it's that backhanded compliment, if you'll call it that.
Right.
Oh wow, you speak so well. To be bilingual? Are you bilingual?
I didn't mean anything by it. I mean, wow, you speak English so well. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Yeah, that little, when we speak a little louder. Oh, there they go. You know what I mean? Oh, they're passionate. Oh, they're
He's getting riled up.
that kind of stuff. And it just sparks to me of, like with Vinny. I'm telling you, there is not one person that I know of, and I let you today when we were at your house earlier. I was showing you some of the stuff. Everybody said, no, he was just celebrating a goal like you celebrate a goal. But he's black and he's being uppity, right? If they had the balls to say what they were feeling and thinking, they'd be like, oh, look at this little nigger trying to be uppity. And it's like, why are we held to a different standard?
And the tone is somebody should put him in his place. That's really the tone. That's what I got out of it.
Yes.
Somebody should put him in his place.
Yes. Not just put him in his place, but dude, at one point, right? And we can watch the game. I'll show it to you. At the end of the game, he's within the boundaries of the pitch, right? He's inside the line. They start throwing bottles at him, right? The bottles of water. Yeah. And then somebody throws a little cartridge, like it was a cigarette or something, vape pen or whatever. And he's in the pitch. He's inside the pitch. He looks at the ref and he goes, dude, look at this. And the ref goes, well, why are you standing there? Move away from there. I'm like, what the fuck? This is, and with him, it's happened a lot. So he's become the face of, especially in Europe and the rest of the world, of anti-race. Because every time it happens to him, he'll go, hey, that guy over there in the stand called me a monkey or whatever it was. And in Spain, a couple of people actually went to jail for doing it. So thank God that they're taking it seriously. And that's one thing, right? And people just don't understand how hurtful it is. You know what, bro? At the end of the show, right, when you say, have we not offended somebody here? Yeah. And then I say, that's not what we're supposed to say. Is there anybody in here that feels unseen, unheard, left out? Yeah. To me, that's where it comes from. It comes from sometimes me feeling like you don't accept me. You don't accept me for who I am. You don't accept me for what I want. You know what I mean? It's the ICE agents that have the balls to go eat at a Mexican restaurant and then raid that same restaurant at the end of the night.
Yeah. They finished their tacos. We'll be back in a couple hours.
And took the people that cooked the food that they ate earlier. Like that kind of shit, right? It's stay in your lane. Do what we ask. Be great. And there's the other people that go, these people are getting paid millions of dollars. Oh, so if you give me $1 million, you can call me a fucking spick? No, not how it works. Just because, and by the way, they're all getting paid millions of dollars. It doesn't mean that it's okay. Doesn't mean that you can, I can't just, hey, I'm a millionaire, let me fondle you. That's not how that works. That's the one side of it. This is the part that I kind of went, okay, I need to talk to Gabe about this. Uh-oh. So there are people that are racist who believe these people are inferior, I am superior, truly racist. Then there are the people that, in that heated moment, will say the most hurtful shit you can possibly say to the other person, right? And that, if you're an ethnicity, it happens to be that. If you want to hurt a black person's feelings, you know what to do. Yeah. You know what words are going to be said, and you know the reaction that's going to happen. And because there's nuance, because racism is real, and what I mean by that is people that are racist, they exist, and to them that's real. But I don't want to mix real racism with truly cruel and sensitive people
Heat of the moment.
that will say something racist, but because it's hurtful, not because they're racist. Do you think I'm being a little too Pollyannic? You know what I mean?
No, because like we talked about, like you and I, our strength is our words, and
Right.
and in that is the power to know what's going to hurt you the most with just words. Like, like we talked about, where I talked to you, like spouses, so husband, wife, life partner, brothers, sisters, people that you know in depth. You know how to hurt them with your words.
Correct.
You absolutely know, because you know what gets to them.
Correct.
And so that's the one side you're talking about. And then the other side, that these uneducated people that are just truly believe that they are a supreme race, that is just
Yeah, the you should be grateful part.
exactly. And first of all, that's taught. So they're just continuing.
And for you people that don't understand, let's digress for a second to really put this in perspective. Who should be more grateful to who? Saturday Night Live to Eddie Murphy? Or Eddie Murphy to Saturday Night Live? Who do you think should be more grateful to the other? Should Saturday Night be grateful because he took it to that level and made that? Or should he be grateful that they gave him the opportunity? I say they should both be grateful that they found each other.
It's a 50-50, because that became a symbiotic relationship that just flourished, because Saturday Night Live had a platform to put somebody talented in.
Right.
And they found Eddie Murphy to fill that slot.
Correct.
And that was just perfection. It
Correct.
just created something amazing.
But that's not the way a racist would see that.
Correct.
A racist would see that and go, he should just be grateful. He could be in a black and go to that space.
Yeah.
Whereas based on my friends, acquaintances, people that I grew up with, I would say in my lifetime growing up until I started doing stand-up and I really hung out with a lot of those guys, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, 10 give or take, only one of them was truly racist. Like, one of them, when he said racist things,
Really meant it.
he meant them. The other ones, they would make a joke about it. Or if you pissed them off, or if they're watching a football game and it's important, the guy drops the ball. It's some stupid, but not like, they're not really, really racist. One of them was. His uncle got killed by a black guy, and he hates black guys. Now, I think that's stupid. You and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, if I judged every race based on the worst person I've ever met of that race, I'd fucking hate everybody, right?
I'd hate Mexicans.
I'd hate everybody.
I'd hate Mexicans.
I would hate everybody because you would think they're all like that.
Yeah.
They're all that. And so I think that what they're doing now, right, trying to get people to stop doing that, to say, look, it's even unacceptable to say it, I think it's a good thing. But what percentage do you think that is? So for me, just based on my thing, it's about a 10%, right? 9 out of 10, not really racist, but insensitive as fuck, because that's just not even insensitive. With the cruel, mean,
let's
heartless.
Go back to the soccer game you were talking about, where they were throwing bottles in him and cartridges.
Right.
Don't act like these. Don't. If you're the one throwing a bottle at a human being, your racism doesn't matter. You know that's wrong. You know that's not the right thing to do. I don't care if you're riled up by the people around you. You know it. You're throwing a thing trying to hit a person.
And there's kids watching.
Learning this.
Bad, great word.
Learning this.
Because it's learned as it's taught.
Yes.
Right?
Racism is learned.
Right. Yeah, it's that scene, dude, and I love the scene in American History X. When he's talking about this doesn't come from anywhere. And he comes home and he says, basically, like, I'm inspired by this black teacher, man. He's rough, he's tough, it's crazy. And then his dad is like, yeah, what kind of books is he making you read? Is he making you read black books now instead of the white books? Because that's what's happening, man. Because listen, there was a white guy that was supposed to be a firefighter with me, but they gave it to the black guy. And now what did he do? He took a white job. And what people don't understand about all this stuff is most people hang around and employ people that they think are like-minded. And so if you have a country where everybody at the top was white, even if they're not racist, they're just going to keep hiring white.
Yeah.
Or people that they think are like them.
That's the norm. If you and your wife, you have 2 sons. If you beat your wife and your sons witness that, that's normal to them. And that's how they learn it. So chances are that's going to perpetuate. So when they have their partners,
Right.
and the same thing is going to happen. Because
Right.
that's how my dad did it.
Right. Yeah. It's the learning.
Yeah.
It's my mom does this, my dad did this. Yeah. But what percentage do you think is, and you know, I don't think there's a word. I just don't think like they're truly racist in that respect. But to say something in the heat of your anger that like that is just gonna devastate that other person. I wonder what the percentage is of those people that are just doing themselves. And I would assume that there are people that are like, I don't give a shit. If you drop an N-bomb, if you call a black person, I don't care if you said it because you're racist or not. It's as bad either way. And that's I can understand. I'm trying to be a human being and see the human aspect of it. Yeah. But am I being too open? You know what I mean? Should I be more obtuse when it comes to this?
Because you and I are open-minded and are willing to have the conversation. But if we're talking to a true racist person, can we do we have a chance talking them out of being racist?
No. But we can talk somebody that's not racist out of going, dude, you should never say those things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even when you're mad, bro. Like, what if he knew that your mom had an abortion or a miscarriage and your dad didn't know? And in the middle of a fight, your mother's sister goes, well, what about the goddamn abortion you got? And it was his baby. Like, how would that go down? Like that kind of cruel shit. Because we were talking about this with regards to relationships. Right? That's where we were going with this. Because we were talking about if anybody were to ask me, what do you think, you know, and a lot of people have different things to say. What's the secret? I've been with Amy. We've been together for 30 years. I would say that the one thing we've never done is in a fight, hit below the belt. We've never done that. I've never went to that place that I know.
But that's probably learned too. Did you learn that from your parents? Did you ever see them actually throw hurtful words at each other?
Dude, what a great question. Oh my God. Okay,
Did you ever think like, oh, Dad,
dude,
that was too low, Dad?
Like in a movie, bro. All the pieces came together. So my mom and dad would never really fight in front of me. Right?
Good. So they made a conscious decision.
But when we lived in Honduras, the house that we had no insulation. So it was literally just 12 by 1s. So 1 inch thick, 12 inches wide. Those were the walls that separated the rooms.
Paper thin, I see.
Yeah. So I could hear every single night, pretty much, my mom and dad, before they went to sleep, would decompress. I would hear my mom be like, oye, no me digas eso otra vez adelante del niño. You know, don't say that in front of the kid. And my dad would be like, pero tú, but they wouldn't, like they would keep it to themselves.
Huddled up and let's have
and
this
then they
meeting
would have the meeting at the end of the night, dude. So, and you know what's funny? Me and Amy used to do that before the kids. But then the kids came around and it got kind of hard because, you know, she would put them to bed and we were together. But that was kind of our thing, you know, for a while that we would do that. And, you know, Nicholas still comes and sleeps in the bed. So it's kind of hard to go that route. But that was our thing. But no, my parents never hit below the belt. As a matter of fact, my mother and father adopted me. I'm one of 18, but on one side of my family, that's my mother and father. My uncle and aunt, who are my mom and dad, they raised me as their own kid because they can't have a kid. Now, they made a choice to not go to the doctor and find out who it was that was infertile, because they never wanted to be able to have that as ammunition.
I love that.
So that's who raised me.
Yeah. I think that's very responsible. I think that's responsible for a couple.
Yeah.
I don't want to find out if it's me, and you don't want to find out if it's you, so let's never fucking find out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful, because they also could have just went to the doctor, and the doctor would be like, oh, no, you just need to take this pill and you'll be fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they just condemn themselves like, we could never have a baby. Like, you fucking idiots. Go to the doctor and see what's going on.
The doctor said 5 shots of tequila.
Right? Yeah, it could. I mean, but going back to what you were saying, yeah, I learned that from them, to not hit below the belt, to not go to that route.
And so proving the point, you don't fight in front of the kids. Your parents didn't fight in front of you, and take the good with the bad. That's a learned thing. Mm-hmm. You're raised. Raider fans have kids, and they raise them to be Raider fans. How abusive is that?
To be in love with a team that's going to let you down like that for how many years?
The kid's a baby. The kid's 50.
Right.
Still, the Raiders only have 7 wins in those 50 years.
Right. No, I mean, listen, it's jokey, but the point is made.
But that's
correct.
The point. Like, even, take something as simple as sports. You have a kid and you like soccer, so your kids were raised in the soccer world, or you like the Dodgers. Or whatever team you like, and you raise them that way, and that's just fun. That's a bonding experience. My dad was a Red Sox fan, so I'm a Red Sox fan.
Right.
But all the negative stuff is just as learned.
Well, yeah, because that's what the norm is, right? That's what the norm is for you, whatever that is.
If you plant poison or you plant corn, either way, it's gonna grow.
Right. No, you're right, and so. Transitioning back to the racial aspect, it also hooks into, we were watching the Olympics, and, yes, and this is Winter Olympics, by the way, but, there's the black people, there's the Asians, and they're all Americans.
Like black speed skaters.
Right, black speed skaters. I mean, it's badass. But with regards to ethnicity, again, right? Maybe it's because we're the ones that have issues, maybe. But for the first time that I can kind of tell, some white athletes got some shit during these Winter Olympics because they were asked about Trump. They were asked about the administration.
That's right, yeah.
And they basically said,
They're very eloquent, by the way. They were very eloquent with their words.
Do you remember what they said?
It was just, it's like, it's just I forgot the term he used, but basically, with the current political climate of our country, it's just it's bittersweet representing this country that I love. Something he did not mention any names.
Correct.
He said the terms political climate and bittersweet and the country I love.
Well, yeah. And then, of course,
they take it a whole different
They
direction.
took it to, if you're going to represent America, you have to. No. You're
from the country that allows you to say that.
That's what makes our country amazing, that we're not, we're not sycophants. We're not, whatever America does, it's cool. It's cool. What makes us great is the checks and balances. What makes us great is that I don't know about anybody else, but everybody that I know, if you think of the mall in D.C., what it gives me mentally is all the protests that have been held there.
Yeah.
Right? Every time something's going on in America that we need to change, the Million Man March, all the way back to the marches on it, all the way back to the I Have a Dream speech. Shit, even in Forrest Gump, you would say that one of the iconic scenes is when she's like, Forrest, and she's in the water, and he's like, Jenny, and they meet in the water and the whole, to me, that's what makes us great. And to me, one of the ills of this country right now is, why the fuck are you defending shit that's indefensible just because that's your friend, family member, husband, wife, cousin, whatever it is? I don't understand that. And maybe it's because I grew up with a huge fucking family. But when somebody did something in our family, right, that my mom and dad were going to get pissed about, somebody was going to rat on us. And at one point, the word didn't become rat. The word became, hey, listen, you fucked up and broke that. Mom and dad told you not to play with that. Yeah. I'm not going to get in trouble for you. Yeah. Plus, you broke that shit. Deal with the consequences. And so I learned that telling the truth about things like this is good, especially when you're young. Because maybe if you teach your kids, as you say, the learned behavior, maybe if you do teach your children to not behave that way when they're young, they won't get to that place when they're older. Yeah. To go to the craziness, to go to whatever extreme that is.
You don't get talked into a January 6th thing. Because don't act like that was right. That was stupid.
But what was that? You get talked into it, somebody, but,
Develop your own opinion. Teach your kids to have their own opinions. Don't just get talked into shit.
Well, yeah, and you're grown.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're going to sit there and say, hey, man, the president told us to go. He's the president. He has power. I get it. You're still an adult who went. Yeah. You're still an adult who pushed those offices. You're still an adult who literally, this is sick, but understand where it's coming from. Part of me, in a very fucked up way, but for the right reasons, kind of wishes they would have hurt one of our representatives. Because the narrative today of all the people that did that is they weren't going to do any harm. First of all, they did hurt a shitload of the officers that were there.
Absolutely.
But I think maybe I'm naive, but I think it would have been different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could have been, but ultimately, if you're climbing up the Capitol walls, one, that's wrong. Two, what are you trying to accomplish from this? What was the ultimate goal? What were you going to accomplish from 2,000 people rushing the Capitol? I was just like, what was the end to the means?
Right. But the whole point was they were there to stop the count from occurring. They were there to literally we're going. We forget. They went into Pelosi's office to go look for her. And by the way, let's remember that Pelosi's husband got his ass beat by somebody in his own fucking house. Yeah. But this again, you know what it's like? It's like you watch the news. What was it? Somebody the other day said some shit that I'm like, who the fuck is coming up with this stuff? Two wrongs don't make a right. And then somebody went, but it does make you even. What the fuck? What? What? What are you talking about? No, it doesn't. So if your father rapes my mother and I rape yours, we're even? No, we're not even. We're both people that should go to jail for a very fucking long time for doing that. Yeah. I don't defend the indefensible. I remember, bro, listen, and I'll never forget this. And one day you'll talk to Bert about it. We had a friend who was racist. I didn't discover this until a few years into our relationship. The first time I heard it, I'll never forget, bro. Dan Marino threw a pass to Mark Duper.
Duper or Clayton? Because I remember.
Duper.
You had the marks.
Duper. He dropped it. And my friend goes, oh, you gotta catch that ball, you fucking... And I went, whoa, dude, come on, bro. And he literally looked at me and he said, look, I'm not racist, but when you get paid and you drop that, you're a... And I went, Jesus Christ.
That's how you become one?
And I looked at my brother, Albert, like, bro, we gotta stop hanging out with this guy. So one night, he came to see me perform at the Comedy Store. We went Sunset. We went down La Cienega. There's a Norm's. It still exists, by the way. It's on the left-hand side. Drove down, left-hand side, Norm's were there. We're literally there's a booth in between us and 4 black guys. And not little black guys.
Lineman black guys.
Lineman black guys. I think these guys went to UCLA and would happen to be partying there. I'm not even kidding you, dude. because they mentioned something. Anyway, this motherfucker starts saying some
dropping
dark.
bombs.
Yeah, dude. And I looked at him and I went, bro, I want you to understand something. If those guys get up, I'm not helping you. And Albert, at the time, goes, nah, bro. Nah, dude. You don't do that, bro. You support your friends no matter what. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't, bro. When your friends are wrong, they're wrong. I don't care if they're your friends. I don't care if it's your mom. That's wrong. And you do not defend that. I don't give a shit what you say. Now, if they're about to kill him, I'm going to get involved and go, guys, come on. You don't deserve to die for dropping an M-bomb. Yeah. You taught him his lesson. You're fine, right? There is a line where I would have went too much. But I remember looking at Albert going, no, bro. If I were to say that and they were to kick my ass, don't defend me. Let me learn my lesson. Let me learn what I'm supposed to learn in this moment.
Yeah.
And dude, I stuck to my guns. And one of the most beautiful moments, about 5, maybe 6 years later, we're adults. Bert is a different person now. He's been my road manager for a few years. He's been throughout the country. He's seen, not imagined, not, hey, that's how those people are. We were in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah. We were in Tupelo, Mississippi. We were in all of these places. And he looked at me and he was like, man, thanks for teaching me that lesson back in the days. You don't support that if you're wrong. And he goes, I'm so sorry. I would have helped him. Today I wouldn't. And I was like, bro, you're welcome. Because I'm kind of like your father, right? and I don't understand why people do that. Why do so many people defend it when it's them or their people doing it, but when somebody else is doing it, it's wrong? I don't. Am I like an outlier?
Because you know it's wrong when you're doing it, but you accept it with your family, but you know it's wrong when other people do it.
But why do you defend it when it's your family, though?
Because it's a learned thing. You're loyal to your family.
No matter what?
No matter what.
Okay.
It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
But also, a lot has to do with education. Like I said, I'm the oldest of 4. I got oldest of 5. I have 4 sisters. I have told them, even in our adult lives, hey, this is why I don't agree with that or your decision or their relationship partners. Hey, I don't like this guy because of this. Do what you will. You're an adult, but at least let me give you the guy perspective of what I see with this partner that you've chosen. Because same thing with relationships. You develop a type. If you're a girl that gets beat and you've been married for 10 years, but you finally have the guts and the courage to break up with him, guess what's the only thing that seems attractive to you? Because that's all you know.
Right. It's all those strippers when I was younger that all I had to do was treat them a little bit like shit and they were on me.
And they were all over you.
Right? And literally. And the ones I treated nice were not nice to me.
Yeah.
So it was that.
He's like a brother to me. That's what you become.
Yeah. Whereas like the ones I treated like garbage, they were like, look, if he doesn't have the passion to like slap you, he doesn't really love you. Like, what? This is crazy. But going back to the racial thing or to the learned thing about hating and about being okay with things that you hate when other people do them. I had a moment, bro, and I gotta thank my father, dude. And I think of one moment where it just solidifies in my brain what he tried to teach me. And I'll never forget it. Now, he did it more than this time, but this time stands out. And this is why I don't have a problem calling my people out on whatever it is and not supporting it if I think it's wrong, regardless of who you are to me. When I was 16, I went to Honduras. And the village that we live in, Sico, there's like 8 other villages. There's Champas Champas and there's Sirigoya. Anyway, there's like, so they have a little 8-team tournament. They all come to Sico, and, you know, there's a game every other day, whatever it is. And, you know, there's a little tournament, and, you know, of the 8 it comes 4, 4 comes 2, 2 comes 1, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, in the championship game, we won 2-0. I scored both goals, right? The field is about, I don't know, half a mile from my house, where my dad lives. So we score, everybody goes crazy. I run home, because I want to tell my father that the village that he's from, the village of my people, I brought that championship. I, by myself, I scored the goals. I was the man, right? Run home. My dad, waiting. He knows. He, I guess, heard the cheers or whatever. I'm like, dude, I mean, bro, my head is the size of a goddamn giant pumpkin. I am just, and I'm looking at my dad, and I go, papi, ganamos 2-0. Yo marqué los 2 goles, which is, for you who don't speak English, Dad, we won. I scored the 2 goals.
Speaking very bad bunny right now.
And my father goes, in Spanish, I'll say it in English, my father basically goes, dude, you played against the third world people that are malnutritioned. You eat good food every day. Of course you outran them. You think this is an accomplishment? He's like, son, in the land of blind people, a man with one eye is a god. Don't go overboard with your fucking celebrations here, kid. You're not playing against the best in the world. You're playing against a bunch of people that you don't even have good hygiene, let alone, you know? And bro, bro, just perspective. But here's what made it amazing, and the true, like, complete lesson. As the villagers get closer and closer to the house, right? My dad goes, so I see that this village isn't shit without my son coming here and saving your asses. Oh, God, you think you would have won without my kid? Oh, this town ain't shit without Pablo Mejia. I'm like, oh, my God. And then he was like letting everybody know, like, hey, that's me. That's us. We did that. But what I understood from it was, look, I'm never gonna tell you that a B+ is an A. I'm never gonna tell you that, you know, that you are something that you're not. I'm never gonna do that for you. But I'm also gonna be proud of whatever accomplishments you have within the context of truth and reality. And so I think that those moments like that in my father's life with me and our relationship kind of taught me to not, you know what I mean, to not do that, to not support people that, and, you know, because I had a lot of older siblings, they would get into fights with each other. And they would, you know, sometimes I would be the guy that they'd be like, so what did you think? And at those moments, I had to just be honest, because I loved both of my brothers, or when my brothers and sisters were fighting. I didn't like, you know, I didn't love Ana. I don't love Ana more than I love, you know, BTL.
Yeah.
But when they were having a fight and they asked me, I would just tell the truth and let the chips fly where they may. Yeah. But I guess I don't feel like there's a lot of like-minded people. I feel like the majority of people err on the side of, I got your back, right? Yeah. It's this. Vinny Jr. and Mbappe, 2 players, they said, that dude called me a monkey. Mbappe said, I don't know about anything. I heard him say it 5 times. Not a lot of times, not a few times, exactly 5 times. And I'm saying 5 so you actually believe me, because I want you to understand I'm not embellishing here. He said it 5 times. Now here's the problem. The team that he's on, right? Because he said he covered his mouth when he said it, so he put his his jersey over his mouth, so you can't prove that he said it because there's no lip reading.
Yeah.
But they said, we're gonna believe him, right? As opposed to believing these two other guys. So there's not just one against one. There's two against one.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like first of all, if I was the manager, right? His name is Jose Mourinho of Benfica, the team that did it. At that moment, I would have got that kid and went, go sit down, bro. Go sit down right now. You're off the pitch. You're not playing anymore. Switch, get him out. And if he said, hey, I didn't call him up, I would have said, number one, whatever you said, you weren't supposed to say it. Do you know how I know? You covered your goddamn mouth. And because you covered your mouth, I'm going to have to believe what they're telling me.
Yeah.
Because if you were about to say something that could be quoted, you wouldn't have covered your mouth. You wouldn't have made it so that nobody can read your lips. So what did you say? Well, he misunderstood me. What did you say? Well, here's so now you're trying to find a word that rhymes with mono in Spanish. So you're going to say something like, no, I said tonto.
Yeah.
But he heard mono.
And you covered your mouth for that.
Yeah. Oh, I said donkey. I didn't get monkey. No, donkey. Yeah. No. You were saying something that you shouldn't say. Get the fuck off. We'll figure it out later. If we find out or believe that you said that, you're never playing on this team again. Teach not just him a lesson, but as you said, all the kids watching, all the children that are paying attention to this. It's sad. And I'm coming full circle on this. If it's racism or just you just are so cruel and mean and insensitive, equally bad.
I agree.
Equally bad.
Because you know it's wrong. Stop acting like you think you're the right person.
Right.
I'm throwing a bottle onto the field. I know that's wrong.
Right. Yeah. And you're doing it anyway. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's the same. I was trying to give a little bit of like, hey, you're a human being. But no, you're right. It doesn't matter. Evil. It doesn't matter how evil lends itself. Right. I'm racist. I said these words. I'm not racist, but I'm mean as fuck, and I said the same words. Does it really matter? You're an evil human being either way. One, you think you're superior, or the other one, you just have no feeling so that you would say the most hurtful thing that's going to devastate a human being on purpose, knowing what it does, knowing that. And, it's not the word. It's what it's attached to. It's slavery. It's, it's not just slavery, but I mean, it's... You live there. We live, all of that came with the racism that we still live in these moments. We still, thank God in America, the middle class is being filled. The majority of people that are going from, lower class to middle class in this country are African Americans. Like that's the biggest percentage of people that are going. So that's amazing. But that's here. All these other countries are beginning to get the influx. A lot of these countries that didn't really have slavery in Europe and all that kind of stuff, they're beginning to feel this thing, this pain, this, oh my God, they're coming in with these different accents and they're coming in with these different looks. And my daughter, wait a minute, my daughter wants to date this guy? Oh, wait. You know what I mean? Yeah. And all of the shit that we dealt with in the 60s that now is not that big a deal. Yeah, you know what? Whichever way, I've done it. I've made my choice. I don't care. You're a piece of shit. Whether you say it out of cruelty or you say it out of racism, it doesn't really matter. It'll never be said. But condoning it, but by saying, what did he do? It's the cop going, why are you here?
Why does that matter what he did? He scored a goal and you covered your mouth.
Yeah.
That's not what I said. The fuck did you say then? That
Right.
would justify, that'll get us to believe.
Right.
That'll get the world off your back.
Right. Yeah.
That isn't something that wasn't intended to be hurtful.
And here's the weird part. The weird part, bro, is, okay, so one reporter, just one out of all of them, he said, blah, 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 what happened? And the coach of their team said, look, I'm not going to believe one or the other. I'm trying to be independent. I'm not disbelieving anybody, but at this point, I'm not believing anybody. They both have, one says he did, one says he didn't. And then he goes, but I'll say this. He said, this happens to Vinny a lot. This happens to that guy in other stadiums. Why? Why is it happening? Now, first of all, it happens to others. They threw a banana on it not too long ago to another one. But you know what? And he was like, what's that common denominator, right? And the guy goes, well, I think the common denominator is that he's black. I think that's the common denominator. And trying to tell him, like, dude.
Trying to prove a point.
Trying to prove a point.
Getting it.
Right. And he goes, but like he celebrated, why do you have to celebrate like that? And this, thank God that this guy had balls. He goes, oh, so you're saying that if you celebrate in a way that taunts people in the audience, it's okay to be racist. I get it. And he went, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he's like, well, then why are you bringing it up? Well, I'm saying that, yeah, right. You're saying.
How is that different from what I said?
Right. And he's like, no, look, number one, you should never say anything racist, period, end of story. Aside from that, he's like, so aside from that, he shouldn't instigate because he's that uppity. He's the uppity. Is that what it is? Yeah. And that's where it goes. It comes back to what we were fucking saying. That as minorities, that as not part of the upper intelligentsia.
It's bad enough that you're succeeding. Don't throw it in my face by kicking a goal and celebrating.
Yeah, and when you do, respect me for having given you the opportunity to work at this place, to play this goal, to play this basketball. I mean, you've heard, right? You've heard the people, talking about basketball and all this kind of stuff and how they treat, because the predominant majority of them are black, and they should be grateful. They get paid million. No, dude. Those dudes busted their fucking ass to get to where they are. And 99% of the people that wanted to be in their shoes aren't here because they didn't work hard enough. They weren't talented enough. They had not enough luck, to go to the right school that played them to the right thing, that fed it to the right thing. So, yeah, all of this shit, let it go. Why? There's so many reasons to dislike people that are good.
On an individual basis.
Right?
Not as a whole.
That are so good.
There's a lot of individuals I don't like.
Exactly.
There's no consistent race.
And good reason to hate these pieces of shit.
Yeah, and I'm equal opportunity when it comes to my hatred. But
yes.
One thing that will never be a thing, just because of your color.
Mm-hmm.
I get more specific on my reason for not liking you.
100%.
You're a piece of shit.
100%. Let's end with this, because we were talking about this. We were watching the Olympics, and in the Summer Olympics is very prevalent, right? Where, they'll show the 100 meters, you're going through the prelims, not the finals, but the prelims mostly. And they'll be like, Zlatan Vlahovic. Yeah, he goes to University of Stanford. Yeah. He runs on the Stanford team, and Margaret Chambalaga, oh yeah, she runs for UCLA, for USC. And today the one that hit was, there's a girl that I think she was born here, but she's born an American citizen. I guess she has family. She lives in in Denver,
Great Britain.
Yeah. But she's representing Great Britain.
Yeah.
I've always felt really weird about that. I've always felt like if you're basically taking advantage of everything America, right? The schools, the athletic programs, everything that comes with the athletic programs, a lot of research, a lot of just the machine that is, right? Shouldn't you, especially if you're an elite athlete? Like, I could understand the guy I could understand me, right? I was a good athlete, not an elite athlete. I was fast, not super fast. But I was fast enough that I probably could have qualified for the Olympics for Honduras in something. Now, I would have taken I would have been out the first match. I wouldn't have been last, but I would have been, whatever it is. I can understand that. You're never going to, come on. You're never going to represent USA. But if you want to go to the Olympics, you can represent Honduras.
Yeah.
That I get. An elite athlete that can play for America, that lives in America, but chooses to go to another country, or not even lives in another country, just representing that country when everything you are is America. I don't know how I feel about that.
My mindset is I've always just assumed that they're not good enough to make the American team, but they can make this other team.
That I get.
I think the same.
But this girl was in first place or something.
No, she didn't. She didn't make the cut.
Oh, she didn't make the cut?
No, she didn't make the cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's not like this,
So it was a situation that I was describing,
Yes,
kind of.
exactly. So if your son gets a soccer scholarship, and he can go to UCLA where he's not going to start, or he can go to this other university in Texas, but he's going to be a day one starter.
Let's throw it this way. If he went to UC Stanislaus, so he's not going to start at UCLA. He might start at UC San Diego. He won't start at. He might start at UC Irvine. He won't start in USC, but he'll definitely start in UC Stanislaus.
And if you truly want to play, where do you want to go? Same concept.
Right. Yeah.
I can be an Olympian for Great Britain.
Right.
I won't even make the cut in the U.S.
Right. Now, what about the winners? Like the women who run some of the fastest women in the world that are Jamaican. They're literally on American track teams. So not only did they go to school here, but they still run here. And they're Olympic medalists. How do you feel about that?
Like Jamaica's a good example because a lot of people they were born in Jamaica.
Correct.
And if you know anything about Jamaica, it's very familial. It's very
right.
It's more on the it's high on the poverty side. So loyalty is huge today.
Right.
So I kind of get it. like Usain Bolt.
Right.
Was he from Jamaica? Okay.
And
did he live in the States? I don't know if he lived in the States or went to school out here. I just know he was just the fastest man on the planet. I don't know enough about his history to
I believe so.
To speak on that intelligently.
Yeah, I believe he was one of those guys you talk about. He trained a lot here. He did a lot here. Yeah. But you know what? You bring up a really good point, especially in small countries like that, where your being successful isn't just about you. It's about all those kids that are gonna
look up to them
and emulate.
Yeah, because if you're playing for Great Britain, you're a role model in Great Britain, medal or not. You made the Olympics,
right?
When you had just been at best an alternate in the U.S.
Right. No, you're right. And I love the fact that those Olympic athletes can say on that given day, I was the best at what I do.
Yeah.
But I also love that America's you look at our complete team, and dude, when I hear people go, man, America hasn't changed a bit. Bullshit. I remember when you and I, and I'm being a bit metaphorical, but when people like us did jokes about the White Olympics. Remember back when we were young? That it was like a brother would be like, man, the White Olympics is coming, man.
Yeah.
Ain't no brothers gonna be in that shit. Yeah. And then the joke was the ice thing and blah, 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 or whatever. Dude, you look at it now, bro. It's starting to look
like the Summer Olympics.
It's
really blending.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about this in another podcast, that it's one of the things that we love about this country.
Like if we see an Asian person in the Olympics, are they American?
Yeah, you gotta look for the flag. You gotta look for the flag.
Is she American?
Right.
That girl's awesome. Is she one of us?
Yeah. Lou. Oh, one of theirs. Nope, one of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that black chick. Oh, that's ours too. Like, yeah. Ooh, that Latino guy. Yep, one of us. Like, yeah, I think it's beautiful that it's doing. I think we've gone so far. And I think we're eradicating this, and we're trying to at least. So, I mean, there are always going to be cruel people. So I guess those people are always going to say things regardless. But, the fact that we're trying, just not even just America, but globally, to change all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, man, that's all we got to say about this. I am going to leave you with this because I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of weeks now. And I have an answer, by the way. And I'm just going to pose the question to you. You don't have to answer it because we'll answer it on the next podcast. But is Subaru really a lesbian car or a car that lesbians love to drive? There's an actual answer for that.
There is?
Yeah, somebody from the company itself. Anyway, basically, somebody was telling jokes, brought up somebody, lesbian came up, blah, 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 blah. Somebody in the audience went, I actually work for Subaru, and I actually do their social media. That's my job. And I can tell you for a fact, if yes, we do target them or we don't. So next time, we're going to get to, is Subaru not only a lesbian car, but does Subaru shy away from it or not? Or are they aware of it at all? There's an actual answer, and we'll find out next time. Dude, I feel so awesome and gross right now. I feel awesome because I'm like, leaving you a teaser. I feel disgusting because I'm like, fuck, I'm like that old, hey, next week on blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know how to feel about this. But we'll tackle this issue next time. And
tackle this issue?
This is a good, but no, dude, when I found out about it, I literally was like, oh, shit, wow. Because you'll see. Anyway.
Yeah, shut up. You're going to reveal it.
Until next time. I hope you live your best life, and if you ain't have life, if you're living your best life, and if you ain't laughing, you ain't living, baby. So enjoy your life and don't be cruel, because I
would never be that cruel to you. I felt that's a song.
Yeah, if it isn't a song,
it's Bobby Brown. Man.
It is. Oh yeah, don't be cruel, because that's right. So there you go. On Bobby Brown, hasta la pasta.
See ya.